Hey everybody, we're back. Episode 2 with the 4 horsemen of the day trading apocalypse. I hope everyone had a really good week. I know we did. We had a really good week. We got some really cool topics to talk about today. We're going to be talking about psychedelics in trading, psychedelics in your health. Got a couple other things we're going to talk about too. How are you guys doing? You guys doing good or what?
Oh, good, man.
Great, man.
Feeling great.
Yeah.
What do you guys got going on this weekend? Anything crazy?
Producing a new video today.
Nice. What do you got on the go? Phil said.
Briefly. So I was watching a movie yesterday, and there was a quote that really struck a chord with me. And I did a journal entry about it, and I just plan on talking about that a little bit. Gonna go back in the woods, find a cool spot, and fire up.
Cool. You know, it's
video and in the woods, man. That sounds a little weird to me. I don't know what's going on over there.
You know, it's funny how things get triggered when you start recording and you start producing content. And I remember when I was doing the reset vlog, where I was, kind of documenting my move from Canada to Costa Rica. And, just doing little vlogs here and there, just kind of pissing around with that. And, some days, even though they're not the greatest vlogs, it was my first kick at the cat, but, some days I had no idea what the hell I was going to shoot, if anything. And, you'll, as soon as you turn that camera on, or, if you're watching a movie or whatever, it sparks this creativity. And it's that's what people need to understand. They just need to do. You need to do things. Get out there. When you sit at home and you're just thinking oh man, I got nothing to do. I'm so bored, or you just you feel like you're in a slump. You got to get out there, man. You got to get out there, and you got to just go for a walk down the street.
Oh yeah, what's really weird with all this shit going on in the world with obviously the pandemic, whatever. Everybody's at home, but before this even happened, what's everybody always say? Oh man, I wish I was retired so I could have all this time. I wish I wish I had some time. Well, now we have all the time in the world, and everybody I talk to, they're bored out of their mind.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's the weird how the world works.
Totally.
Trying to stay busy is hard. It's a job, man, but you gotta stimulate your brain. Like Pat said, every day I go down to the lake and walk about 3 to 4 miles just to start thinking new things, and it leads to other stuff, So
I did that.
if anything, if you're bored, just get outside and walk. Just do something,
Every day it's a struggle for me to think of something to do.
It's crazy, right? This is what we all dream of. We all dream of having all this time. And now people are like, man, I don't know if I want to be retired. There's nothing to do,
Well, you got to remember, that's how we're conditioned. We're conditioned since, how old are we when we go into kindergarten? 6 years old, 5 years old? We're conditioned to have some sort of a schedule of other people telling us what to do.
Yeah.
Freedom isn't easy. It's definitely not easy. And that's one of the reasons why I stuck around day trading the entire day. When I first started trading, I would stick around all fucking day because I didn't know what to do with myself. I felt like I had to. If I didn't stay in front of the monitors and watch charts all day long, it was like I was doing it wrong. Yeah. That took a long time to get over, man. It took a long time to get over and to understand how to actually use freedom, right?
Yeah.
It's super funny, but that's what it is. We're conditioned into thinking that we have to fucking do something, and we don't. Yeah. You don't, I don't know, you don't have to work. See, what's nice now is with the time that I have, and I've obviously got a lot of free time. Now, obviously, I put in a lot into Tricktrades and the business, but I also, if I feel like relaxing, I just relax. I sit by my pool, or I sit in my backyard, go for a walk. just, you can do whatever the fuck you want, man. But, you know, people saying that they're bored, it's like, you finally have all the free time in the world that you can literally do whatever the hell you want. And they'll still come up with excuses like, oh, well, you know, I can't do this because, you know, it's not allowed right now. It's like, what do you mean it's not allowed? Just go do it. Like, you're not hurting anyone. Like, I don't know. I just find that there's, no matter what, people find a fucking excuse. Always.
What's funny is her and I were talking last night actually after dinner, and I said something, and she's like, "What the fuck do you mean you're on? Like, you're bored? You're on vacation every day. Like, go think of something to do. Go mow the grass." I was like, "I did that already." So, but yeah, it's tough. Like, I literally will get in the car and just fucking go somewhere because I'm like, I did the grocery store. I got to do this. I did this. Like, the more time I have, the more shit I knock out, and then I really start like, I'm just. It's very unnatural just to sit around and not do shit.
I think this is a test. I think this is a big test. How you're really going to be able to if you've got a partner you're living with. This is a true test if you can really last a lifetime with these people, because you know everybody's at their wits' end right now. And
that's major funny, man. Like, we see. How many times have you seen people like fucking, if you are out grocery shopping or you're just out in public or whatever, and they're just like, you can tell like they're either pissed off with their partner, or they're just like really like, man, it's like Chrissy and I since day one have been pretty much inseparable. Like, I hired her when we first met, when I was still a welder. I hired her as my helper, right? Like, you got to make sure that, like, and this should be a really big wake up call for a lot of things, but for one thing in particular, like, if you aren't with someone that you've spent all this time with and you just fucking like hate each other, or you're always just like bitching at each other, like, people better fucking like wake up, man, because a lot of us are, you know, we're fairly young, like 30s, 40s, 20s, whatever. And it's like, you've got a long time. You have decades left with this person. And if you can't handle 5 months, what's it been, 5 months?
Yeah.
With this person?
Yeah.
Some people don't talk about.
Yeah.
There's going to be a huge spike in divorce rates. Like,
well, that or babies. It's either end. It's either end. There's going to be a lot of babies, or a lot of people are getting a divorce.
Yep.
Yeah. People are finding out a lot about themselves too, because like obviously we have a relationship with ourselves. It's the same concept. Like, we're gonna be who we are for the next couple of decades, and if we don't do anything to change it, we're just gonna keep living the same way. So time to start realizing that and making some changes.
Well, I hope people have used this time to really do some thinking and do some changing. But I bet you though, man, the fucking shame of it all, I bet you people haven't. I bet you they're still doing the same stupid shit that they were doing before. I bet you that they're still pissing and moaning, blaming everyone else. I mean, look at all these, so many of these protests and these people that are protesting. They're not even protesting; it's rioting, blaming everyone else for your fucking problems, man. It's always someone else's fault, and that drives me up the wall. But that's why, and it's not even just in trading; it's in life too, man. The 10% make it. By make it, I mean successful. It's such a small percentage, because the majority of people, man, they fucking blame everybody for everyone else, all of their problems. It's always someone else's fault. Man, like, that's such a red flag when I'm talking to people, or if I meet someone new. If they're that type of person that it's always someone else's fault, I want nothing to do with them. They're not my type of person, man, at all.
It's like their default setting.
You know,
I wonder how they don't even realize they're doing it sometimes.
I'd like to see some data on the drug use since this pandemic.
I bet you it would be. I bet you it would be huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
what else are people doing?
Yeah, Exactly. When people are bored, they're gonna drink. They're gonna fucking do drugs.
They're gonna
right?
go get high, make a movie out in the woods, like an extra. You know what I mean?
Dude, when I said, all right, full disclaimer, when I said fire it up, I meant the camera.
Okay.
That was more
Yeah,
joking.
not that there's anything wrong with it, you know.
There's a dispensary by me that they opened a while ago after they like legalized their shit here medicinally, and now that the pandemic, you drive by that fucking place and it's a line. Like you think it's Black Friday. Like,
Well, you know what? I bet you it has a lot to do with their living condition. They probably can't stand who they're living with, and they got to go get high to deal with it. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny though?
Maybe they'll have one of those experiences where they're just like take too much, and then they're like, "Oh gosh, I got to turn my life around." I don't know, that happened to me.
Hopefully.
I'm gonna punch this fucking person I'm living with unless I go get high right now. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
can't take it.
that's perfect. You
Stuff
got
like
the
that, there's no
dispensary and then the
hiding
grocery
all
store
those
right
things.
across the street.
Yeah.
You know, I think, it's what's really funny is the essential services that were claimed to be essential, like the liquor stores stayed open. Like,
Yeah.
as long as they keep a guy fucking like drunk or buzzed,
Yeah.
you're not going to have
Right.
any problems, right? Like the liquor stores are essential, but the mom and pop operations, the little corner stores that are, selling food and
Yeah.
water,
Or a gym that I can
both of
go
those-
and get healthy to
Yeah.
fight the pandemic, to build
Yeah.
up my immune system. I can't go, but
Yeah.
I can go get blasted at the liquor store.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
You know?
Blew my fucking mind. I
and
couldn't
like
believe
gyms,
it.
you naturally social distance.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're not beside anyone.
It's because the people making these rules have probably never been in a gym before in
No.
their life. They have no idea what it's
Well, naturally, unless you're Tino. then
Well,
it's
that
different.
goes without saying. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a problem.
I don't
mean,
know if you want to walk in these shoes, man.
we're relying on politicians to make up these rules and laws.
Yeah.
It's funny. They're so detached from reality, these politicians, because they have been involved with the institution basically forever. They don't have any dose of reality,
Nah.
right? Like that on the last episode of Fallout Shelter, where I showed that video of that guy in Sacramento talking that, they better cut this shit out or they're going to have a big uprising. He's talking to the one guy, he's saying, yeah, this guy, he's sleeping over here. Look, you're cushy in your nice cushy job and you're sleeping. Guy's passing out, right? Well, this guy's like pouring his heart out. These guys, they're so fucking detached from reality, man. And it's like,
Oh, yeah.
instead of, defunding the police and putting all of our energy against the police, maybe we should be putting that energy towards the politicians and not just like big scale government, like the president. Everyone's up in arms over the president. I don't care whether you're left or right. That's such a small part of government that's what they want. They're deflecting. It's such a natural thing that these guys are doing. They're just deflecting.
Well,
The real issues lie within the small government, the municipalities, the states or provinces. Those are the fuckers that really need to get it. Those are the ones that are holding things up, that are making all of these stupid fucking laws and stupid rules because they heard some other asshole talking about it. There's no proper real science that's talking about a lot of these rules. Like for me, in order for me to go back to Canada, I can go back. Getting back into Costa Rica is going to be an issue. Right now in Costa Rica, you need to have, and Canada's on the list, so I'm allowed to come back, you need a 48-hour COVID test. Nobody offers a 48-hour COVID test. Where the fuck do I get that? How do I get that? So now they upped it to a 72-hour COVID test. And when I go back to Canada, I need to quarantine for 14 days. I can't see anyone for 14 days. Why?
Yeah.
I'm not infected.
Right.
How about you give a guy an option that, okay, if you can't afford it or you don't want to pay for it, you quarantine for 14 days. if you can't afford it or you do want to pay for it, how about I take a test at the fucking airport? And then I take a 48-hour quarantine instead after the results
that makes too
come
much
back.
sense.
Like, I'm so fucking frustrated over all of this because it's nonsense. I don't have fucking COVID. Nobody does. Nobody does around me. Nobody. Nowhere, anywhere near. Nobody does. It's a fucking cold. It's a flu. It's all it is.
It's funny that you brought up like the politicians and shit like that. Is after the documentary that I sent you guys, we started watching another one, right? Anyway, so I wasn't paying attention, and you know, and then I started watching, and long story short, like it was talking about like different diets, you know, low fat or high fat but low carbs, you know, basically talking about keto and shit. And where it got interesting, and you know, talking about politicians. So I guess this doctor, I don't remember his name. He basically wanted to become a politician, right? And he created, after one of the presidents got sick and got heart disease, that's where everybody got into this, you know, fucking panic that high fats is bad for you, saturated fats and shit. And so this doctor, basically the founder of the American Heart Association, or he wanted to get on the board, you know, and the head seat of this fucking, you know, place, put out this study that, you know, high fats and shit like that, you know, leads to cholesterol and it'll kill you, right? And that was basically the foundation of the American dietary, like, setup. And you had this professor or scientist in like England, I think it was, they basically came out and said the opposite, said, no.
Yeah.
High fat, low carb, essentially keto is the way to go. And dude, this guy ripped him up, basically discredited the fuck out of him and ruined his career because he only wanted his idea out there so he could be, you know, get into the political shit. And long story short, they found a paper trail that this doctor paid politician, or this doctor convinced and bullshitted his way, you know, to get to the head of the American, you know, Heart Association and get his fucking study out there. And then sugar companies, sugar industry was paying politicians to say, hey, sugars aren't the cause, sugars are good. And then politicians are on fucking videos saying, hey, you know, we understand there's conflicting info and shit like that, but we got to get it out. So we're just going to run with this idea. And for fucking, and literally from that moment on, they tracked from that, the moment that, like, in the 50s and 60s, essentially Americans ran with a keto diet and didn't know it, right? They were promoting high fats and shit.
Yeah.
And then when this cocksucker came out with his, because he just had a political agenda, basically that's when American society became obese.
Yeah.
Now it's like trying to go fucking backwards, and you know, everybody's thinking it's some concoct fucking dietary thing, and you know, the next fucking Atkins and shit like that. And but it's funny that all that shit happens because one asshole wants to get his name out there and doesn't want to be discredited, and politicians, you know, they want to stay in control and have their ideas fucking be the entire fucking philosophy of shit.
All ego.
It just fucks everything up.
Well, it is all ego, and people really need to wake the fuck up and realize not everything is a conspiracy theory. It is fact. It is based in fact. And I'm not talking about aliens and fucking reptilians and all that nonsense. I'm talking about the basic day-to-day, why we're told certain things. And man, I don't understand how people don't realize what the fuck is going on, that there's an agenda that they push on us all the time. And like, if that doesn't piss you off, it should. It's these fucking politicians that they're just ruining us. And then people will say, well, why would they do that? Money, man. It's all fucking money. Do you think that one man that is greedy gives a fuck about 350 million more men? No. Doesn't care. Doesn't care in the least bit. All his end goal is how much money he can make. That's it. That's his goal. His goal is to make as much money as fucking possible because it's just greed, right? He doesn't care. If you can trace back every, well, why would they do that? It's always money, always.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like when people said, well, why would they crash the American economy? For money. There's always a way to make money through all of this. You know, like even with this pandemic, I mean, look at these mask mandates. Look at, so who's making money off these masks?
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck,
whatever.
look at, like, that's huge right now, man.
Yeah, I mean, the market crashes, somebody's making money. Somebody's making money somewhere, no matter what happens. You know what I mean?
Money is always the agenda.
And I
Always
think,
the agenda.
you know, people really need to wake the fuck up, which kind of segues into what the main topic of this podcast today is the use of psychedelics. What people don't really realize is because we're so fucking brainwashed and programmed into thinking that psychedelics are bad, right? As soon as you say psychedelics, what pops into your mind? Hippies, right? Fucking hippies. That's what pops into your mind. Well, I'll tell you what. Since the beginning of time, psychedelics have been what have molded and shaped the human race and human evolution. Now, for people that have done psychedelics before, in the right way, not just to get high with a bunch of buddies fucking camping or something like that, but have actually used them to look inward and try and figure your life out, I owe a lot of what changed my life to psychedelics, to one big, massive mushroom dose. That set me on a course, which is what has led me to where I am now. That if I didn't do that, had I not done that, I would probably be dead from a fucking overdose. I used to have a lot of fucking issues, and I've talked about them before when I was younger. And it wasn't just a little bit of coke use or a little bit of heroin use. I was a full-fledged fucking junkie. And I was at my wit's end. I didn't know what to do. No doctors could help. Nobody could help. I realized I needed to help myself. And if it wasn't for that trip, that mushroom trip, I really don't. I don't think I would be here today talking to you now. I don't think I would. That changed everything for me. Instantly gained perspective. And I'll tell you what, there are tools out there, and people are starting to wake back up with, 10 years ago, if you said ayahuasca, I don't think anybody would know what the fuck you were saying. They would think you're having a stroke and blurting out a weird word. The majority of people know what ayahuasca is now, or at least an idea of it. They know what DMT is. They know what magic mushrooms are, and LSD. There's other psychedelics that are out there and other drugs out there that people are microdosing with. I have microdosed with mushrooms living in Costa Rica. I have access to amazing psychedelics everywhere. They grow everywhere. And at my property where we keep our horses, and with the horse shit getting shoveled off in the corner, went to the property one day, and oh my God, 17-year-old Pat came out in full stride. Let me tell you, the amount of magic mushrooms that were there. I mean, I've had posts and stuff with them, and it's amazing how many were there. And there are tools everywhere to use. Now, I've dosed, and I ran it for 30 days of, I started at 0.1 of a gram all the way up to 0.2 of a gram. A little bit more than 0.2, like 0.22 is what it worked out to be. And 5 days on, 2 days off. So Monday to Friday. And I can tell you what, the amount of changes that I got in 30 days off of that were outstanding. Personally, I think the 0.2 or 0.22 was a little bit too much, and I did better on 0.1. Each and every day, guys, let me tell you, I had a profound thought or experience. And we're talking a dose that's so small, you don't feel it. You don't feel it at all. You're not high. It's straight up medication. And I'm going to talk more about this at some point, but there are so many ways to get better and be better, be a better human being. And they're everywhere. And the government they don't want people that are awake. They don't want people to think for themselves, because like I said at the beginning of this little spiel here, since the beginning of time, that's what has led us and humans to be where we're at, is through psychedelics. If you want to listen to a guy that really knows what he's talking about, I want you guys to search Graham Hancock. He's done a bunch of Joe Rogan podcasts. That's originally where I learned of him. But this guy, and he's so open-minded, and it's not biased, and I love that man. I love the research he's done with psychedelics, and just the way he thinks about them. If you want to learn more or you're interested about the topic, Graham Hancock, amazing, just amazing.
Yeah, there's a direct correlation. I mean, they say history repeats itself, right? So if you look back, a lot of you watching this weren't alive in the 60s. I was born in the late 60s, but I still remember it. I had an older sister that told me all about it. But everything that happened in the 60s is happening right now. You got civil unrest, you've got race tension, you have women's rights, and you have psychedelics coming back into the play, and you have the world is a mess right now, just like it was in the 60s. 3 assassinations, you had Vietnam starting. It's all going on right now. Mm-hmm. And the mentality is still kind of there too, because in that, Pat and I were talking, that movie Woodstock, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's a documentary on Woodstock, obviously. Well, they go around and they interview all the hippies, and the hippies are all anti-government. Woodstock's known for that big mud bowl they had, and it would rain. So they're interviewing the hippies, and the hippies are saying, the government's seeding the clouds. They're making it rain. They don't want this to happen. And that mentality is carried over to today, where everybody's got a conspiracy theory.
Yep.
Everybody's anti-government. You know what's funny about the government? I don't want to get in political discussion here, but everybody hates Trump. Whatever your feeling is, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I have my own opinions. But look he got voted in. The reason he got voted in, because he was an anti-politician. He wasn't political. He wasn't a political guy. They voted him in. The people got exactly what they wanted. Yeah. And now they're pissed that he's not political. So I don't know. It's crazy what's going on.
People don't even know what the fuck they want, right?
No.
You look at all of these riots. They're not protests, they're riots that are going on, especially this whole defund the police bullshit that's going on. People want to be a part of something so badly, right? That they're trying to, in some ways, relive the 60s. There was, and I wish I had the Twitter clip up. I don't. I couldn't find it again. It wasn't Black Lives Matter, but it was almost like a division of Black Lives Matter. This fellow gets up and he gets a microphone and he's talking about, fuck the police and fuck the white man and all this. And then he starts shouting, power to the people, power to the people. It's like, well, wait a minute. That slogan, that statement, that's from the 60s. That meant something, okay? When Black people could only ride at the back of the bus, right? And all of that was going on in the 50s and the 60s. Don't try and make a direct correlation as to what happened then for what's happening now, because a lot of what's happening right now has everything to do with people not taking ownership of their own situations. Now,
But yet
The problem with social media is it's a big fucking popularity contest.
Yeah.
Everybody changing
Yeah.
their thumbnails and their profile pictures and shit like that. And it's like, no matter what you believe, right? Whatever your opinion is, right? And I would hope, I mean, I don't believe I associate with anybody, social media or in person, that believes that anybody should be fucking killed for no reason
no,
whatsoever.
of course not.
But literally, anytime there's a moment that happens, it literally is. It's a popularity contest, and you know, either people just change pictures or put posts up, you know, whether they believe it or not. But it's like, why the fuck do you need to change shit on social media? Like, what are you trying to get views? Like, I don't understand it. Like,
because it gives these people an opportunity. These people are weak. Most of these people are weak, and they've never had an opportunity for their voice to be heard, and now they do.
Yeah.
And now they think their voice matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They never had any friends throughout school, right?
Yeah.
They've been loners their entire lives. And now they have a small little following on social media, and they want more attention, more views, more clicks, more likes. I mean, it's fucking sad, man. Like,
Crazy where society's going, man.
yeah, it really is. But that's really what's going on. And, you know, I don't know how we get back, you know, whether you agree with what we're saying or not, the fact remains we got to get back somehow. And just like shouting at each other and rioting isn't the way.
well, that's the thing. Like, people can't sit down and have a conversation. But, you know, there's been protests about, you know, freedom of speech on different events in the past, and, you know, the whole 9 yards. But the minute, you know, we want all these fucking freedoms, and I could do this, I have the right to do so. Oh, you have a different opinion than me? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, you disagreed what I posted on Facebook? Fuck you. I'm unfriending you. I don't like the meme that you posted. Like, it's so contradictory. It's not even funny. Like,
I've had friends that have been friends with each other for years and years, and they don't talk to each other anymore because they got into a fight on social media over politics. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
fucking ridiculous.
It's
Like,
ridiculous,
unbelievable, man. Like,
You know?
it's a conversation. It's not that hard. Like,
Yeah. That's why I'm pretty private. I don't like to be on social media. I just stay away. You know,
I don't really post anything other than, you know, business reasons on there. But
yeah,
like, I mean, it's fucking sad. It really is sad that you have to tiptoe around
you can't.
everything, like you're on fucking eggshells because you're worried about pissing this person off because of a different opinion, or this person's offended. Fucking, you know, one wrong message or one wrong tweet, or just for the stupidest shit, and everybody will lose their shit and try to fucking, you know, hammer this business to get them shut down and ruin livelihoods of fucking people because it was opposite of their opinion. Like, come on, like, grow the fuck up, like, be an adult and stop being a fucking asshole. Like, come on.
I know.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
You know, before we wrap it up, I kind of want to head back into what we were talking about before with, you know, these psychedelics. I'm going to go into, if you give me a second here, I want to get into a pretty nifty IPO that's coming out. No, it's not going to let me. I'm on my Mac and I don't have it up, but that's okay. Basically what it is the ticker symbol is going to be, and it's going to IPO. The ticker symbol is MPS, and maybe we'll discuss it a little more so next episode. And I'm going to look up the IPO when it's expected to IPO. But, you know, psychedelics in trading, like I was saying, I know it's changed my life for the better. If used properly, these things are powerful tools. And when it comes to trading, like, discipline, self-control, those are two massive things that you need to be a successful trader. And I believe, not that I'm telling people to do it, but I believe it can help. It can help because when you're not so cluttered in your mind and you can focus, big things can happen, right? And I think it's a great step, like Colorado decriminalizing magic mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms. That's a great first step. Now, there is another state, I believe Oregon, I believe that's what I read here in this. They are looking to decriminalize as well. I could be wrong about the state, but I know other states are starting to jump on board, and I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. And, you know, with these companies, it's a UK-based company, by the way. And I can't remember if I mentioned that Peter Thiel, he's involved with it. But like I said, we'll have more information on that. And I gave you guys the ticker symbol. That's going to be really interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of shitty fuckboy penny stocks coming out, which really sucks because this is when you just like the pot stocks, right? You got a bunch of scam stocks that are out there where it just puts a fucking stain, you know, these goddamn penny stocks, hey? You know, penny stocks just there's such a shit stain. There's such a stain on the market. A lot of them are just fucking shit is what they are. And at some point, I wish the SEC would just get rid of these fucking garbage companies. But it's interesting. It's interesting where we're headed. And I think there's going to be a lot of really solid opportunity. You know, Johnson & Johnson has come out with a nasal spray that is a real small dose of ketamine. So for all you ravers out there or people that have tried ketamine, Special K, I've done it once. I didn't like it, man. I didn't like it. My first thought when I did that after I came down was, if you like this, you're a fucking alien. It was a really weird high. You feel really normal, but your entire world just kind of goes, wow, and it's all
I don't like to be like that.
No, and you're all numb and you fucking, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast with Whitney Cummings. She was just on recently. I can't remember the other woman's name that was on, but Whitney Cummings, I guess, has this ketamine nasal spray, and it's supposed to help with depression that you just can't get rid of. So I guess they'll dope you up. I don't know. I don't know much about microdosing with ketamine. I know a lot of people do it, and it's supposed to really help. So I don't want to bring a bias to it, because microdosing is a lot, really different than like a full-blown dose of stuff. For those that are watching, like, you just get all the medicinal benefits, and there are medicinal benefits to a lot of these things, like LSD. A lot of people microdose with LSD. I just don't have any access to LSD, or I'd probably try it, but I have major access to psilocybin mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, psilocybin mushrooms. They're literally everywhere. You can go walk. I could walk out the back of my office here, and I guarantee within a block either way, I would find some magic mushrooms. They're everywhere. So that's what I have at my disposal, and they work wonders. It's really hard to put into words at just how good they work. It's strong. It's not to be fucked with for the wrong reason. It's strong medication. And I have some, and I'm going to talk about it more in another episode, whether it be Fallout Shelter or an actual blog, where I'm going to really detail my microdosing. But it worked, and you can tell because of some of the effects. it had on other things, that hits strong. It is strong medication, man. And I think if used properly, they can do a lot of good.
There are benefits to it. I've seen a documentary, and don't quote me on some of the facts. It was a while ago, but this guy, major cluster headaches. And for people that don't know what a cluster headache is, I mean, I've never had one, but
they call them suicide headaches as well.
You're on oxygen, and these headaches could last hours, and it feels like your skull's ripping apart. And this guy was at the end of his rope, like, you know, fairly young, you know, probably late 40s, early 50s, family, the whole 9 yards, hard worker, you know, successful life, you know, to an extent. And but he was ready to pull the trigger, like he couldn't take it anymore. And then you know, his last ditch effort, he tried the mushrooms, and literally every 6 months he takes a full dose. And he didn't have, from the time I saw the documentary, I don't think he had a single cluster headache for like 2 or 3 years.
It absolutely does wonders. I know that it does do rewiring firsthand in your brain. It rewires it. 100%. I absolutely know that it resets certain receptors in your brain. It's powerful stuff. And it's amazing. I'm really excited that people are waking up to it. I know Jackson just ordered something.
Like, these aren't magic, but I got these off Amazon. So
Yeah.
This is Flare Premium Mushroom Complex.
Yep.
So this is a blend of 7 different ones for energy, immunity, and clarity. Let's see what
Mushrooms
we got
of all kinds. There's definitely something to it. They're powerful, man.
So
Do they have any that make you better looking?
Steps, reishi, lion's mane, chaga, turkey tail, shiitake.
Yeah.
So like there's all different kinds. Like I've tried a few different kinds. I've tried like Alpha Brain. I think
I love Alpha Brain.
There's mushroom in theirs. I've tried Genius mushrooms, and there's definitely a noticeable difference in like mental clarity.
Yeah, there's something going on there, hey? Like you can't quite put your finger on it, but you know that it's working, right? Like that's how I describe it.
The way I know how to describe it is like, it feels like your entire body is like breathing.
Yeah.
Like obviously like we're breathing, but it's like our brain is breathing. There's like more clarity. Everything seems more open and fluid.
Yeah, it's really hard to put your finger. I know exactly what you're saying though. And and like I said, it's not just psilocybin mushrooms. It's mushrooms in general. Paul Stamets is a guy that you guys should look up. I mean, when he starts nerding out, when he starts really nerding out with mushrooms, a lot of it will go over your head. But this guy is, it's like the World Book Encyclopedia of fungi. I mean, this guy is a knowledgeable man, and some of the stuff he says is really fucking interesting, really interesting. And I just think that people need to start looking elsewhere other than, you know, a fucking Xanax or whatever. You know, this big pharma, man. What I'm worried about is big pharma getting a hold of this microdosing and trying to fuck with the compounds and everything else. You don't need to. The more natural, the better. And you know, when you stack psilocybin mushrooms with lion's mane, it actually increases the good benefit of by 20 times, 5 times or 20 times. I can't remember which one. Either way, it's a big increase. Now, we couldn't get lion's mane down here, but even just lion's mane, just on its own, does wonders. You know, there's a lot of really interesting stuff. I think I'm all frozen up here.
Yeah, it's a good shot of you right there.
I
was going to screenshot it.
That's so funny.
You know I'm going to screen capture that picture, and man, we're going to abuse that thing.
That'll be the thumbnail. That'll be the thumbnail.
Oh.
Insert here. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. Big cock in my mouth, eh? You'd like that, you sick fuck. Okay. I perfect way to end it too.
Yeah.
But I think we'll wrap it up unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about.
I think
Now we got some good things coming, man. We got the new, we've got our new videos coming out, so keep an eye out for those. Those are going to be killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we got a lot of good stuff coming. So
Phenomenal weeks. Tricktrades is just killing it. Everybody.
Yeah.
Man, the members are destroying it. The amount of consistency that's going on. And I say it all the time. I know how it looks from the outside eyes looking in, man. I know how it looks. But it is.
Yeah,
it's
guys.
true. It's real.
I mean, check out. I mean, there's a link. There'll probably be a link below, right? We have a free It's free. It's awesome content. Just go check that out.
Yeah, that's free masterclass. It's great. Go check it out. It's a lot of great information in there, folks. It really is. Revolution Swing, our swing trading service. Go check it out. We're 4 for 4 again this week. 4 for 4, 100%. Our average is in the high 80s, and it's true. You can believe it or not, but the fact remains, it is true, right?
Yeah.
So it's, man, like I said, I know how it looks. I know how it looks from the outside eyes looking in. I know how it looks, but it's the truth. And I really wish people would stop following these fuckheads out there that don't respect money. Take a $40,000 loss. And if he's taking a $40,000 loss, do you think his members are, how do you think his members are doing?
Especially during these times.
Yeah.
Especially during these times when people aren't at work. It's just insane.
And he's just throwing money away like that. It's just such a lack of respect. It's a lack of respect for just people in general, his members, himself. There's no self-respect there, when you do shit like that.
It's like marching in the lemurs, man. They just fucking follow each other right off the cliff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they'll defend them to the end. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. But that's a whole nother episode. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And like I said before, you may not agree with everything that I said or Tino said or anyone said, but I think people really just they got to be nicer to one another, man. And I know that sounds really fucking flaky, but it really is true. It really is true. I know it's hard to be nice to people sometimes. I struggle with that. I don't like dealing with fucking idiots. And usually if someone's ignorant, I get real ignorant real quick. But I think people just need to just stop and breathe and realize what they're doing. They're going about it the wrong way. Nothing will change. It's not going to change like that. If you really, truly want change, that's not the way to go about it. Nothing will change by burning shit down. It doesn't work that way. It's just going to create this. More us against them. That's what it's going to create. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Right? So on that note, folks, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for coming out. Till next week.
Boom.